One thing I say is my coffee is seriously fresh coffee. I really want people to drink good coffee. Like it's roasted for the most part, I roast it when the person orders it, like that day, next day, at the latest, like 2 days later. I think for me, coffee is part of that. Just taking that time just to relax and rest with a good cup of coffee in the mornings. That was like a sign like, all right, I think it's probably going to be integrity.
Real talk, raw feelings. Welcome to Attunigrate's podcast series. If I'm being honest, I'm your host, Nishani Javardhan. I'm the founder of Attunigrate.
And I'm Hungary Alvi. I'm the founder of Tessellations and the creative mind behind it.
Today, we're doing a feature episode. This is a special guest who has decided to, technically, we have decided to join him at his facility,
Yes.
at his home. He's been graceful enough to invite us over to show us about his process and his small business. So we are officially announcing we have a sponsor for our show.
Yeah.
That is Integrity Coffee.
There you go.
Representing all of us. So first and foremost, I want to introduce Jeremy as a networking person that we met. So Jeremy, Gigi and I met Jeremy during our SiriusNet networking group. And we learned about Integrity Coffee because Jeremy is a true representation of what it means to have good coffee and local brewed coffees. You guys know, I've talked about this. I'm very sensitive to caffeine. So I typically do not have a full dose of coffee. And today I learned that Integrity Coffee also offers a decaf option, which I have not tried yet. So stay tuned. I'll let you guys know what I think about the decaf option, which so far from what I've heard, it's fabulous. The regular coffee is pretty great. But again, I'm sensitive, so I stay away from that. But I will let Gigi share a little bit about her experience because as y'all know, Gigi loves her coffee.
Yep. And I must say, I'm very well caffeinated by Integrity Coffee. Most of my mornings, all of my mornings. Let's be very honest. It's mornings are Integrity Coffee. Before I used to try different kinds of blends. I'm going to say I used to pick it up from Costco. I'm like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. But now it has become to, hey, Jeremy, I think I'm low on coffee. Are we meeting for the networking meeting? What blend do you have this time that I can try? Also, it has become very personal as an experience for me. So somebody will ask coffee. I really enjoy. So we're going to give the seat to Jeremy and we'd like to know a little bit about you and then take us through a journey of how you got into like coffee roasting.
So I first started roasting coffee when I was living in mid-Michigan. So I'm originally from a small town called Birch Run, which is about an hour and a half north of here. And I had a friend who owned a coffee shop in Bay City, which is about 2 hours north of here. So I was living in Turkey, and as a single guy, I was getting engaged to my now wife. Came back before her to kind of set things up and went to visit my friend who owned a coffee shop. And he said, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I said, "Excellent. I need a job."
In Turkey?
No, it was actually in Bay City.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, got it.
And so I'm like, awesome, we got a job.
Yeah.
Just by visiting my friend. And he had a coffee roaster there as well. And that's where I learned how to roast coffee. That one is a big drum roaster, which is a normal kind of roaster. And so I learned how to pick what blends, like what beans will go together in a blend, what coffee I might like the best, how to roast, light, medium roast, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I learned how to roast coffee. And kind of is carried on from there. That was several years ago, probably 15 years ago. And then, I think in June of 2019, came back here to Michigan. And from there, I think a few months later, I was like, I want to start roasting coffee for myself. And I started roasting it for myself. And I had some friends who, they're like, you roast coffee? I want some coffee. So like, okay. So I started, at that time, I just had a small sample roaster. And so a bunch of people asked me to roast coffee for them. And so it's kind of grown from there. Now I have a roaster that I can do up to 6 pounds at one time. So
we just toured Jeremy's coffee corner in his basement, and it's beautiful. Like we were expecting it to be like a larger space because I think we're conditioned to believe that everybody's like factory and like it's large.
How do you fit that in your basement? I don't understand this.
I know
people ask me that all the time.
I'm going to say I was thinking about the same thing. I'm like, coffee roasting, and I'm like, I've always seen like these huge barrels like that just roasting coffee constantly, and I'm like, for a house in a basement, like constantly you can't have something running as well, right? Like it's going to irritate other people in the house. Like sure, like one person roasting, I love coffee, I'll deal with it, but it's a house at the end of the day. So I'm like, oh, that like what I saw, I'm just like, am I getting into coffee roasting or candle making now? There are two options. I'm like, I'm going to start candle making. Looks like it. Or now from today, my husband is going to be like, okay, now what else are we doing?
Yeah.
There's endless potentials for using space, right? And I
Yeah.
think you're a true Michigander, you're
Yep.
born and raised here, and
Mhm.
now you are representing the community. And something we often talk about is how can we serve our immediate community without
Oh, yeah.
thinking about sometimes we think about the big picture and it gets overwhelming, right?
Mhm.
There's so many people to serve, but maybe you can just start with your friends and start with something that you love.
Yeah.
Sounded like it was like the doorway. God was like, oh, here's a path.
Yep.
Let's see how you feel. And now clearly you've
Mhm.
turned it into a wonderful business. In
Yeah.
fact, I gave your coffee as a white elephant gift during Christmas, and
Mhm.
someone randomly got it and they were like, oh, it's just coffee. And then they technically messaged my partner like 2 weeks later. I'm like, oh my God, this is like really good coffee. And I was like, send the link, like you can subscribe,
Yeah.
which we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You can get this because they're in India.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sure Jeremy will deliver. Speaking
I
of,
like India. I mean, I'll drive it down to them, you know.
yeah. Oh, wow. And I personally,
I don't always do that.
I wouldn't recommend that because you don't know what kind of coffee drinker is. Because I've met Chi. It's a good thing we meet weekly or bi-weekly
Yeah.
because that way you can just hand deliver.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not sure how she'll survive.
Yeah. No, I feel very privileged because I get my coffee very hand delivered. It's like, oh, freshly
Yeah.
roasted and everything. So yeah, very spoiled. I'm going to say for my coffee. I just wanted to ask you, like, were you like, I'm going to use a word snob, but were you like a coffee snob before? Because everybody, like, we have our
Mhm.
notes, right? Like,
Mhm.
if I'm having my black coffee in the morning, there are particular things that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at extremely like a dark roast. I'm looking at something medium to not even light, but like a medium
Mhm.
roast. And then like, I want them to have a particular kind of like a cinnamony, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
everybody has their thing. Were you kind of noticing all of these things beforehand? Or like it was just coffee because coffee had become like a trend overall?
Yeah.
Was that you, or you were like that one person who would pick on the smallest thing that you know?
At first, I didn't. Like I said, I roasted the owner, who's my friend at the coffee shop in Bay City. I was actually still drinking coffee with like sugar and, half and half and stuff in it. Generally, I went on a fishing trip with some friends and asked if they had coffee. Like, yeah, we got coffee. It's like, do you have any like cream or sugar? They said no. Like, all right, just drink a black, I guess. And it wasn't even good coffee. I'm like, oh, this is actually not bad. It just wasn't too strong. Like they didn't make it very, very strong, So I'm like, oh, I can drink black coffee. So after that, I started drinking black coffee. Now I drink black coffee all the time.
Yeah.
But I can notice some things in different tones. I can notice earthy notes, things like that. I won't say I can. People, oh, this one's has stone fruit. This one has this. I'm like, I've never had stone fruit before, so I couldn't be able to point that out. I do know what coffees I do like and what coffees I don't like. That's kind of how I base it on. So, and I think there's a lot of people who don't know or don't care. Like on my bags, I have like just some of the tasting notes, and so sometimes it'll say like, oh, nutty, and some people will say, I'm allergic to nuts. Does it have nuts? And it's like,
Right.
no, it's just like part of the flavor profile of it. It doesn't actually have nuts. It's not roasted with nuts. It's not stored with nuts. And so people are just like, I'm allergic to walnuts or whatever it is. It's just like, no, it's just has that flavor note that comes through when you drink it. Doesn't have any nuts in it. Yeah. So if you see something that has flavor notes on it, it doesn't mean it has nuts in it. It means that it has the nutty flavor.
The sensation of it. It's a sensor's thing.
So the biggest like flavor profile that I have seen in the coffees is, I'm going to say, cherries. I've forgotten the brand, but like my husband really likes that particular decaf version. So we have only one decaf coffee in our house, which is that specific one. It never gets used because I'm not having decaf versions.
I've had it like one time.
Yeah. And that is a very strong version. Like you can even feel the notes when you're making a latte. Like it's not just black coffee that gives you like subtle, it is strong and it's out there. I did enjoy the caffeinated version for some time, but I don't think I'm a long-term kind of a person that has extremely sharp notes. But like sometimes, when you have like little like winey notes or like, like nuts is something my palate goes towards. And I'm going to say currently I am having the blue Haitian one from you and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Like it's literally my morning, and I have a routine, right? Like I get up, I am looking forward for my coffee mug. Like it's literally like that. Like I think I do the like getting up, brushing just so that I can get to my coffee pot.
Yeah.
Like it's literally that for me. And then I'm like, okay, then my morning starts. Then I think about like, okay, we'll look at the rest of the things later.
Mhm.
But yeah, like, do you have like a coffee ritual? Because I'm going to say, like, every person who makes their own, like, grinds their own coffee in the morning definitely has some ritual, and I think it becomes a part of them. We are not the Keurig pods, like, which is put a pod and let it deliver. That's not us. So I'm sure we have.
Yeah, that Curie, you can just do that with half of one eye open, people just through
That's true.
slap it through. That's what a lot of people like about it. Or it's like 2 seconds to get out the door. I need to do this real quick. And that's why it's so big. For me, yeah, I mean, a lot of times I'll set it before the night before. So I'll grind it and I'll set it to, I wake up at 5 a.m. usually. So I'll set it for 4:30. So by the time I wake up, I get up, I pour myself a cup of coffee, and I go sit down and chair upstairs and just kind of relax a little bit. And then I'll start roasting coffee a little while later usually. So I usually do a lot of my roasting early in the morning.
How does the family feel about that? Because I know when we walked into the space, it was a little bit louder, but I couldn't tell how that sound carries upstairs. So how's the rest of the
You can
household?
hear it. So if I have guests, I usually will behind us, there's a couple doors. I usually close those doors, and there's a door that goes to the room, so I'll close that door. But my wife also wakes up early, and she leaves like at 5:30 to go. She works in Troy, so she'll work out at a place in Troy at 6, and then so she leaves the house, and I'm roasting probably just after she leaves. So
That works.
Right.
it works well.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of loud. It's not super loud like maybe in our bedroom, but it might be kind of loud like in the kitchen. You can hear it when you're in the kitchen.
And it's just, it sounds like you have your, like Gigi was saying, like you have your routine to get in with the cup of coffee. I know sometimes before we go to our networking meetings, like she hasn't had a cup. Sometimes she'll have a cup and then she'll come and get me, but she hasn't had a cup. And as soon as I wake up, I'm like, no, 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 and then this, and then this, and then she's like, and then I can see her like zoning away. And so, and the last time, literally 2 weeks ago, when we went to our meeting, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna halt the conversation. I'm gonna get back to it after you've had at least 5 sips of your coffee, because I can tell she wanted to murder me.
Even the smell can be like, okay, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, my partner's the same. I cannot talk to him before his coffee. And when we have traveled, we discovered that him and her, they both will grab a cup of coffee and sit in complete silence and not talk to each other, but just coexist. And that's a kind of culture. And from a mental health perspective, it's supposed to be really good for your nervous system to start your day, even though coffee can be intense for some people. However, that practice of engaging in your senses in the morning is a great way, because most of us will engage in our senses and it might be a screen, and it's just overwhelming to stare at a screen the first thing. So to engage in the ability to touch, to taste, that's why taking a shower or a cup of coffee, whatever that practice is, can be very good for the rest of your day. So it makes sense why when people's mornings are interrupted and they don't have that proper routine to get in, that they're going to be cranky and they're not going to want to be in the mood to engage in the same way.
Especially I think as humans, most of us are creatures of habit. And so if somebody doesn't have that like routine of like, I'm having my coffee right now, and you just even just sitting for a couple of minutes, smelling the coffee, sipping the coffee, I think it can throw things off even just in our mind. Not that everything's terrible or the world's falling apart, but like, our routine is thrown off.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I mean, coffee is part of that. Just taking that time just to relax and rest with a good cup of coffee in the mornings. It's like, all right, this is how my day is starting well.
Exactly.
It's good to have like small rituals, I'm going to say. But again, like now coming back to Integrity Coffee, why was the word integrity like very close to you? Definitely you added that as your brand name. Like, how did you come about when?
Well, I was really thinking for a while about what the name for my business should be. I was thinking of like something kind of cozy, like fireplace or hearth or something like that. Or I was thinking like something with fire. There's all these different things, and like I couldn't find anything that was hitting the spot. And I'd been reading some books about integrity. I try to live my life with integrity. Incidentally, I was meeting with a friend, out to breakfast with a friend, and we're sitting there talking about different things, and I'm like, my business, I'm just starting this business. And I hadn't told him like what my idea was like for the name. And I was thinking, integrity, that sounds like a good name. Integrity Coffee. I like the word integrity. It helps me live with integrity, because I think my business is called Integrity. I should operate with integrity and live with integrity. So at that point, we're just sitting talking, and the waitress comes up and like she has integrity tattooed on her forearm. And I'm like, that was like a sign, like, all right, I think it's probably gonna be integrity. And then after that, I was just like, okay, it's gonna be integrity coffee. I told my wife, she's like, that sounds like a good name for a coffee. It's short, kind of like, it's got a good ring to it. And yeah.
You know what was just random going on in my head right now?
Hmm.
We're going to have like a random question and go out to our networking group once this video is out and be like, do you know how Integrity Coffee came to be?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure nobody knows the story of the tattoo and everything. Like,
It's almost
would know-
random because like who has integrity on their forearm like that? You know, it's great, but it's like it's not like normal.
When we talk about universal signs, right?
Yes.
Signs from God, like
Yeah.
pathways
Yeah.
open when you venture into certain roads, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, if you're paying attention, you start getting confirmation. Like,
Yeah.
go this way. Yes, that is
Mhm.
correct. And like I love that.
And that's how I live my life too. You know, I really I live my life with integrity, but I was like, I asked God, like, hey, show me how to do this. I don't just come up with all these ideas on my own. You know, I try to think, how can we do this and stuff. But but that was to me was like, all right, I think God's speaking to me. That's probably what's going to be. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool. And I think one of the reasons why we even connected and Integrity Coffee is sponsoring our podcast is because we want to connect with individuals who are doing this because this is their passion
Yeah.
rather than doing it for the money. Of course, the money is important. Like we
Mhm.
know that we all need money
Mhm.
to exist and thrive. But at the same time, like doing something that makes your heart smile, brings smiles to people's faces, that invites conversation, it engages other people's livelihood. Like you are literally fueling her life, quite literally.
I'm excited about that.
And so my partner too. And like, and there's just some elements to this. And I was thinking, because you had mentioned that you had lived in Turkey
Mhm.
and Turkish coffee.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious because I think you said you've been there for like 13 years.
Oh, I lived there for 13 years. So I was there 6 years as a single guy. And then my wife and I got married back here in Michigan. We were here for like about 4 years. And then we moved back for 7 years.
What? How?
Yeah.
How did Turkey?
Yeah. So I basically living my life, just trying to get by, live. And I didn't go to school because I didn't have any clue what I was going to do with my life. I'm like, I want to be a productive part of society, but I don't know what school or military or what, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had friends that were in a Bible study together, and they went to Mexico. And they were going to Mexico, and they're like, that sounds fun. Can I go to Mexico? And they're like, I guess, you know.
To your
And so
parents, you mean, or?
it was just some friends of mine,
Oh,
you know.
really? Wow. Okay.
And they were going, and they're like, all right, you know. And so that was my first time going overseas somewhere. And it was during that time where I really sensed that God was calling me to live overseas somewhere. And it was during that week that one of the leaders was talking about different places that he had been. And he mentioned Turkey and kind of the ministry they do there, how the people and the culture is. And I was like, man, and I heard that, and something inside, I just describe it as something inside me kind of came alive. Like I got super excited. Never been there. I mean, one person told me for 5 minutes what Turkey was kind of like, you know?
Yeah.
And so I kind of started going towards that vein, you know, and there for a month. I loved it. You know, we danced a lot. Turkish people like to dance.
Really?
Yeah. They love me, like Turkish music, and they love to dance. And like, I like to dance. The tall guy have pretty good rhythm. So they're like, oh, this tall guy I was doing just crazy dances, like the lawnmower and like whatever, you know, the sprinkler, all kinds of stuff. And they loved it. And then about a year later, I went with a friend, and we kind of did the same thing, and visited the same people. And I was like, okay, I need to get there somehow. And so, in between there, I was doing some different schooling and stuff, some Bible schooling. And then I just did one school in Scotland that kind of prepared me to go. And I lived there for part of that school was a 2-year field placement. And so I was placed in Istanbul, and I loved it. I lived there for 6 years, and I met my wife there. So I mean, Turkey's incredible. The food's amazing. People, they're very much less time oriented, more relationship oriented, which fits my personality really well.
Yeah.
So I really loved it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An excellent way to describe that culture, relationship oriented rather than like time. Because here, you know, what I weren't born and raised here, but there's
Mhm.
such a hustle culture here,
Mhm.
which is why we were talking about the Keurig coffee drinkers, right? Like everybody is rushing.
Yeah.
Nobody's really taking the time to connect with what they're doing on a day-to-day
Yeah.
Yeah.
basis and to see cultures that prioritize living
Mhm.
Yep.
and not just like going to do the next thing. Is refreshing. I think it's really cool that you also feel called to travel.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
see another part of the world and
Oh,
to
yeah.
live for many years and
Yeah.
meet your wife. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty
How-
incredible.
how incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, when you were trying to kind of get to different cultures and talking about it, like, it reminded me of there's a lot of like tea culture in India.
Hmm.
It's extremely hot, and you'll find people standing under the sun and still sipping that hot tea.
I've been to
Yeah.
southern India, so I know what it's
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
it? We were in Tamil Nadu.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you've tried the food there, but I'm just gonna say if you have enjoyed some part of food, then you would enjoy if I make some curry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
you
it out of
They,
coconut.
where we were staying, they made us special food.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
was less spicy than their
Yeah.
own.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Which is like I grew up. My mom cooked, but she didn't use a lot of spices.
Yeah.
Right.
My wife uses all kinds of spices. She makes
Ooh, good to know.
Indian food, like our version of Indian food or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I like spices more. So I think if I go to India again, I can have a little more spicier than it was my first time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact, we did not
Yeah.
know you were
Yeah.
South India. Tamil Nadu is South India. A lot of Sri Lankans get mistaken for South Indians. Most of the time people just think we're South Indians. And then when we go to India, they'll think that we're from Goa, which is like, again, South
Yeah.
India parts. And they think they were from there. So it's always like,
Yeah.
so we're like, we're neighbors anyway. Hi.
not like that far away.
Uh-huh.
Like the coast that we both come from, we have a lot of like coconut in our cooking. So
Mhm.
like that is a very like, and then coming back to the part, like tea is a culture in India, right? Like
Mhm.
every morning you wake up to the smell of tea.
Mm.
And then now that I have come here, like I have a coffee culture, and I don't know where it started as well because I was raised on
Yeah.
instant coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm
Yeah,
not getting
really.
started there right
Yeah.
now. I'm not going to say that.
There's a lot of instant coffee in Turkey. I've had some terrible instant coffee. So
Yeah. Again, like the brands for instant coffee, but I've never enjoyed coffee as much. And like little later, like I started knowing a little bit more about coffee. And then I got into this entire culture of Starbucks, right? Like that's
Mhm.
why I used to always say, oh my God, somebody memorized my coffee order and
Yeah.
get married to them. That was me.
Your best friend.
But yeah, midway through, my husband has, I'm going to say 80% of my order.
Oh, there you
like,
go.
At this point, we're getting there.
Hey.
But yeah, having said that, like then I started withdrawing from these big brands of coffee.
Uh-huh.
And the biggest transition happened when I moved to Michigan, which was like 2 years back, and I started exploring these smaller coffee places
Mhm.
that actually have like different rows.
Mhm.
And I think I started liking that more rather than going to a Starbucks. Starbucks, you
Mhm.
go and sometimes it's, yes, you get the same coffee everywhere. But again, this is something that's missing.
Mhm.
Like I would go to a coffee shop, look at what are the flavors that they have. And then if I'm in a latte zone or if I'm in like a black coffee zone, what am I going to get out of it?
Yeah.
And then that's how I like to go. Like Starbucks, everywhere you go, it's very like set.
Mhm.
And I think people need to start exploring their palette and like kind of step out because I know that there is like a loyal Starbucks fan base
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to move them. Like,
Mhm.
and I've lived in UAE for like last 13 years and I know what it is to follow brands.
Yeah.
Like you say like the Western world and we really love that sort of a culture. Like
Yeah.
it's a branded culture, right?
Yeah.
Like everything needs to have a brand.
Yeah.
You're carrying a coffee mug that is not Starbucks. Oh, are you actually having coffee? Like it's
Who are you?
yeah,
I'm above you.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like it is so much to a level wherein like Tim Hortons came to India. I'm going to say people lined up. Like there were queues outside like Tim Hortons.
Really?
Yes. Now that I've come here, I'm going to say a lot of like these food joints that I enjoyed on the other side of the world have
Yeah.
proved me completely wrong since that I've come to the land where they are
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is kind of that's why I said like I am loving the culture of like getting to know the small businesses, like locally owned businesses, like that bring so much more than the bigger brands.
Mhm.
And secretly and hoping that, with advent of AI and everything, like the small businesses are going to be your, like, how
Yeah.
olden times used to have like locally sourced things.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm hoping that culture comes back. This is one of my predictions that's going to happen with everything. And I hope that happens with everyone as well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, having said that, like, where do you source your coffee beans from, right? I'm going to say, like, that's also going to be like a challenge, and like knowing where we are at with all of the tariffs and all of these situations. How is it like going with your business at this point?
Yeah, I source my beans from. There's a couple different importers that I that are my resource for those, and um, I don't. A lot of times, coffee beans will come in a burlap sack of like 150 pounds at least. So I don't usually need that much for my operation right now. At the moment, I don't. But hopefully soon I will. I'm kind of at the cusp of having to buy that. So so yeah, I find ones that have ethical practices and that they have good quality coffee as well. So that's what I look for, and just the different origins. That we have. You have Colombia, you have Costa Rica, you have Guatemala, you have Brazil, Bali, Sumatra, Ethiopia. I've tried to do some from around the coffee world, and like Central America, South America, Africa, Oceania, if you want to call Sumatra and stuff. I've tried to do that. I'm just gonna get a good mix because the different land has different nutrients, and so you get the different flavors and different profiles from the nutrients that are in the ground. So the coffee shrub will pick up, like in Guatemala, there's a lot of volcanic soil there. And so that's what makes some Guatemala coffees really, really, really good because of the volcanic soil in there. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it brings great richness to the coffee beans. Yeah, which is kind of amazing that coffee was kind of discovered in like Yemen, which is desert, right? So it's like that's kind of
What
weird.
are the places? Yeah, exactly. And you even shared that you've been to like plantations, like you and your wife will go like that. So I think it's almost like a nice holiday, right? You get to go stay in these plantations, talk to roasters.
We definitely do like to go places where they have good coffee. My wife worked at a different coffee shop, when we first got married, and so we both do love coffee.
Yeah,
perfect.
And so yeah, it's awesome. And like, so we went to Costa Rica and stayed at a coffee plantation. There's an inn on a coffee plantation. It was kind of a good experience. I don't get my beans from there. I asked the guy, like, how do I get my beans? Like, how do I do this? Like, oh, you can probably go to like the center here down in San Jose and you have to go do this. I'm like, we're out here on vacation. I can't do that right at this moment. So I haven't been able to go to a source and connect and make a relationship with some coffee roasters able to do that. I have some friends in Colombia which I've contacted, and I've yet to really make the contact with any of them down there that have coffee plantations, but that's kind of a desire of mine. And I would like to do that because I like to travel as well. And I would like to see different operations and how different plantations and different mills will have what they do to dry their coffee, what they do to wash their coffee and process the coffee.
Yeah, that's a really cool detail that I learned today was what the coffee beans look like before they're roasted, where there was the decaf coffee looked darker, and then the regular coffee, it looked green, like the beans looked green, right? And Jeremy, I want you to talk about the coffees you were talking about. They're very soluble, so you can like, how does the decaf process work? And just kind of educating others, because I actually didn't know. I just knew I wanted decaf coffee because I couldn't handle regular coffee. But there is some caffeine in decaf. It's just not as strong.
There's like maybe 1 to 2%.
Which to you guys, it's like,
yeah,
might as well give us water. But
where's this brown water that doesn't get me excited for,
So yeah, I'm just curious, because you were sharing that with us. Like, so the decaf coffee is basically like a watered down coffee.
Yeah. So the different process for decaf, the original kind of way that they would decaffeinate the beans is they would use chemicals. I'm not sure what chemicals. So a lot of times when you drink old school decaf, it has a weird aftertaste, and that aftertaste is the chemical coming through. And then you have mountain water process, which is the one I have, is a mountain water process decaf from Peru. And then you have Swiss water process, which I'm not exactly sure exactly all that is. I just know that both mountain water process and Swiss water process use water, which
That's
they're using pure water, like according to regulations, they're
Mhm.
using pure water to do it.
okay.
It's not like they just, let's find this water over here in this
Just so the coffee,
this well that hasn't been used in years,
just
Uh,
throw it in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take the decaf. It'll add a little flavor to the beans. And then there's they do have another one. It's like a sugarcane process, but they use it's like a chemical, but it's sugarcane. So they use a sugar. I'm not sure exactly they if they use like a simple syrup from sugarcane or whatever that they process it. But basically they just soak the beans in what is a chemical, whether it's the water or whatever it is, and the caffeine just kind of leaves. I'm not exactly sure all of the process behind it.
Sure.
But I do know that the water processed decaf tastes like regular coffee. And if I gave somebody, here's some coffee, if they drank it, they would be like, this is definitely decaf.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Unless like later, like, why am I still tired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the only probably
The effect
indication.
will be, that's how they'll detect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, to Gigi's point earlier, right? Like when you are competing against big corporations like Starbucks, like I feel like sometimes they're predatorial, like they can come after small businesses like that are trying to steal their thunder, even though they're like multi-billionaires at this point, like they don't really need to.
Yeah.
But we know that these corporations, bigger companies or chains globally known can get on competitive levels. So how, I guess as a business owner, like how do you approach that? Because coffee is a pretty big industry in the United States.
Very big.
Major.
It's not like, I'm not like making a whole brand new thing. You're like, Jeremy's doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Unique.
No one's ever done this before. It's like, no, that's not it. There's plenty of people who have done what I'm doing.
Right.
But I would describe it as, Starbucks, Dunkin', Tim Hortons, all the bigger places. Their stuff comes from factories, basically, like a bigger factory, and it's more processed that way.
Yes.
Mine is going to be, it has my personal touch. You know, it's craft roasting, small batch roasting. So say you get a subscription and through my website, you can order, say you want the Integrity's Best Blend, you get that. And then the next month you're like, I want, hey, can I get the Costa Rica Terrazzo? And you can just message me, email me, say, hey, I would like the Costa Rica Terrazzo. And without changing the subscription, I can just like, all right, no problem,
Yeah.
and I can do that. So it's kind of a personal touch at this point because I'm not the size of Starbucks yet. But also Starbucks, you have different things like Starbucks is like fast food coffee.
Yeah.
With different things, they come out with all these different things and they charge high prices. Smaller places are a little more expensive. I would say you're more likely getting better quality
coffee
at a smaller coffee shop, independent coffee shop, because a lot of places will pride themselves on our quality is better than Starbucks. And guarantee the quality coffee that I buy is better than Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, I love caramel as a flavor when it goes with coffee, and especially when it comes to lattes. Like, it's mocha and caramel. Like, if you have tried the caramel macchiato from Starbucks and versus like if you get a caramel drink from any other coffee place, you guys, like if you are a caramel lover, you're going to see the difference. Like it just feels extremely burnt when it is Starbucks, and I don't know the reason why.
That's part of their brand is the burning of the beans.
Yeah, but yeah, like Starbucks ones are extremely like burnt in flavors. Like you sip it and like, and I used to really love that, like until I didn't try the good ones, and now I'm like, I don't want to go back to Starbucks. Like my Starbucks order is ice shaken espresso without ice, and that's why I said it's a little weird. I just like it ice shaken but without ice. It's extremely, my order is weird. When I say that also, like there's only like concentrated coffee at this point. Like you just have a dash of like cream or milk, whatever, but it's mainly like just double shots of like ice shaken espressos, and that has been like my order for really long. And then otherwise, when I would go to a hot drink, it was caramel macchiato, and I used to really enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. And then I came here and I started trying different versions of like salted caramel, this, that, and like one of my favorite cafes locally is Drifter in Ferndale. It's really cute. Like the cafe has like a vibe. Again, it's not sponsored. We are sponsored by Integrity Coffee, but I'm just going to say, right? Like,
I'm not the only coffee place out
yeah.
there. So
It's not a coffee place. You're a roaster, but like as if you have to go and experience that space, you should definitely like, that's what we want to do. Like we want to create space for like locally grown businesses, right?
Absolutely.
How do you bring awareness to all of these things? Every day you cannot go to a drifter and get yourself a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Like you are going to make it at home. So when it comes to that, like price points also, if you see, right? Like currently Starbucks coffee is around what, $6 to $8 you're spending on one coffee.
Yeah.
And versus like,
Americano or a regular coffee, which
is what, like
Still
$4 still?
or $5.
Yeah. And again, after doing all of that, like you're just getting one cup of coffee, and is it the value that you're getting? Per se, like just bring a bag home. Like if you don't have a grinder, like, you know, just get the ground coffee or whatever it is, but like try to make it at home. And I'm going to say that like you would enjoy that coffee more than going to Starbucks. Like it's easier when somebody makes you a coffee, sure.
Yeah.
But then apart from going to Starbucks, go to like different and nicer cafes, like, you know, which are locally owned businesses, especially because they're going to put that heart and that soul and a little bit extra that you wouldn't expect from a coffee.
Yeah. And that was my next question and thought, like, what do you think differentiates you from the competitors in the market? You know, because small batch coffee is such a unique experience, right? And I know that people who don't know about it feel like they don't believe that it's legit. Like sometimes they'll question it. Like, no way. But then again, you've convinced one person who's like who's now like telling everybody. And I've definitely been like trying to incorporate it into my friends because I have been very intentional about buying from small businesses for many years now. It's very rare that I go to like big corporations or like chains. I'm very intentional. Everywhere we travel, I try to go to a local mom and pop shop, and I'm like, I want to be intentional about that. And I'm a small business, so I'm like, you know what it's like for people to be like, no, you know what, I came to your business because I believe in you. So I'm curious, like, how you would share with our audience, like what differentiates you from the rest.
I mean, I do everything I think with a personal touch, so to speak, and a lot of my newer customers, I think, come from referrals from other people. Which is great, because if you have somebody who's like advocates for you, like this coffee is going to blow your mind, which I've had a lot of people like say like, I don't even need like any sugar with your coffee. And it's like a huge compliment, because you know, I don't drink any sugar or half and half or anything in my coffee or any flavoring. Like, that's a compliment, because they used to have to do it because it just cuts the bitterness or cuts the burnt out of it. But drinking a good cup of coffee is just like, there's something about it where this flavor, I can actually taste the flavor of this, and it's really good. And I don't need to add any other flavor to it. And so that's kind of like, for me, I like to educate some people. And if somebody asks me like, what do you have? And I'll say what origins I have, you know, and like some people are like, I don't even know what that means. You know, I'll you know, part of it is education. Part of it is letting people know kind of what's in the coffee, whether it's flavor notes or what region it comes from, or what makes this certain bean special compared to other beans, you know? So I do like to educate people. I like to build a relationship with people, because in doing that, you get people drinking better coffee, as opposed to like, oh, I'm just going to go to Tim Hortons. I mean, I haven't been to Tim Hortons that often. I guess it's probably going to be okay.
Yeah, it would. It's not like they're bad coffee. Although my partner's is called Starbucks.
Yeah,
specific.
Starbucks it's a good name for it, actually.
It is a
It's
name
like
for
perfect
it.
name.
I know. I'm sorry, Starbucks, but like he'll tell me like when he travels, like because he's been traveling a lot, and now currently he's in Europe. And in Europe, there are certain towns where coffee is just not a thing. And he keeps forgetting that. So I'm like, I literally have one of your bags in the house. I'm like, dude, just take it. Just pack it and take it. Like, no one's going to care. And it travels really well, like the way that you seal it. It's very well packaged, I will say. So and even when we go to Sri Lanka, because in Sri Lanka, there's a lot of instant coffee. Nescafe is like the vibe. And Nescafe is not coffee for any actual coffee drinker.
No, no matter how much you put less or more, or how many scoops you want, I don't want any scoops.
It just doesn't deliver at all. So like he would carry. And my uncle's a coffee snob too. So I can't wait, because I was hoping to gift him a special bag from yours during Christmas whenever I see him next, because I just haven't been to Sri Lanka since having learned about your coffee. So I intend to take some and let him try it, because he drinks at least like 7 cappuccinos a day.
Nice.
To start.
Nice.
I think on a long day, he's like, he's like every
You need
single
something
time.
to just sit there and pour it into his.
Yeah. That was my job. He'll be like, Rosie Akka, which is my mom. Akka is like older sister.
Yeah.
He like scream from his room, Rosie Akka, can I get another cappuccino? My mom would look at me and I'm like, I'm the barista now.
Yeah.
So I actually worked as a barista when I came to the US because I had made so many cappuccinos. And I was like, I guess now I'm an expert. But anyways, I think that's really cool. I think you wanting to share a personal relationship with people, and you're willing to like adjust what you're sharing with them if they have a subscription. I think that's really awesome, because sometimes you just want to try new things and you don't want to be committed. You don't want to feel like you're committed to something and that you cannot change your mind, right? I think there's no room for that personal touch with bigger companies, because you're not talking to the roaster.
No.
You know, you're talking to some customer service representative that's just trying to repeat a script and make sure that you're not complaining on them.
You go off script like, I don't know what to say.
Exactly. And I wonder, like, I think it sounds like you're wanting to educate the groups of people who are drinking coffee and show them what it's like to try new things, you know? And you also told us, like, sometimes you might roast the coffee that they're buying that same day, which means you are really getting one of the freshest batches you could possibly think
It's going to be fresh. It's going to be really fresh. And I joke with people. I was like, I roasted this last week. It's going to be old. So just like, they're like, when did you roast this? I roasted it 3 days ago. It's going to be old. You have to throw it out. No. But one thing too, that, you know, because some people don't know, you know, they know Starbucks, they know McDonald's, they know whatever they have, you know. It's like they don't know, like when they go to my website, like I don't know what I would like. They just don't know,
right?
You know, because what they see is like indescript, like whatever blend is like, I don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
You know, if you buy it in the grocery store, like it's like a morning wake up blend is like, well, that doesn't mean anything. You don't know what beans are in it. You don't know what percentage is. You don't know how it's roasted. You don't know the quality. And so, like, I have a sample box. You can get 6 4-ounce bags of coffee. So you can get that, and it's like, I like this one, I like that one. So you can choose 5 of them, and then like the 6th one is like the roaster's choice, which I got this idea from Gigi.
Nice.
Awesome, you know. So I do that, and so if you're looking, you're not sure what you want, you can buy one of those and maybe be like, I like these 2. I think maybe I'll try a pound bag of one of these ones, you know. So you kind of narrow it down, you know. Do I like dark roast? Do I like light roast? Do I like medium roast? Some people just assume they like dark roast the best because that's what they have. But then you give them a medium roast, like, actually, this coffee is way better. So
I'm going to say I'm more of a medium roast kind of a person. Medium roast kind of enhances all of the notes, and I'm just going to bring attention to one of your blends. I've forgotten the name at this point, but it has hibiscus cane sugar, and then one more thing, and I think that was one of my favorites as well. And now, as we know, like, I'm exploring like different packets, and I usually end up getting the bigger one. Like it's my month is almost sponsored by like Integrity Coffee in the mornings. But like the small packets was something that I told you it was because one of my friends ended up gifting me something like that, and I was like, this makes so much sense, because you go to like bigger places. Like before this, I used to go to Costco and get this big coffee.
They don't have like 4-ounce bags. Like you have to get like a 5-pound bag at least.
Commit.
And I'm like, but I just don't know what I want. And then I would walk in the aisles, and my husband is just pick up a coffee. Like, why is it taking you so long? I'm like, you have no idea. Like, my day starts with it.
If I make the first cup and it's terrible, like I have 4.8 more pounds of this that I don't want to drink.
Exactly. And you cannot explain this to a person who doesn't understand coffee. And like, having said that, like, for one person who gets caffeinated in the house, I have multiple ways of making coffee. Just a random question. Like, when you went to India, did you end up trying the Indian filter coffee? Have you ever tried it? It's like a drip coffee that they make. The beans and everything is done in south of India. It's usually like a lot towards Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and all of them. Like, they are. So I have that coffee also in the house. So I have caffeine addiction at this point.
Yeah, when I went to India, I didn't actually drink coffee that much. I had had a coffee, but it was just whatever ground coffee was sitting at the school that I was going to. So I wasn't actually,
Right.
I drank coffee because when I would do my reading in the morning, I would drink coffee,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't, and I was drinking it with cream and sugar and stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So it wasn't until after I went to India is when I kind of got more into coffee. When I started working that coffee shop job, and there's like, this coffee is good. It's fresh and it's from this region. And I do know I've had like, you know, you have Indian monsoon Malabar, you have Robusta comes from India as well. So there's
Yeah.
quite a few. India's really coming on the coffee scene,
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
which is pretty nice.
Yeah. Like this time when I traveled to India, like that's what I was also doing. I went to a bunch of cafes in Mumbai and tried different like coffee roast and coffee beans and like what it is because and that's when like some of those ideas even I was like trying to tell Jeremy, I'm just like, hey, listen, a lot of people are trying to follow this. Like let's like, because we are a small business at this point, right? Like, but sooner or later we want to get into those households who would respect something like this. Like it's a little bit, it's art. I'm going to say, like it's not mass produced. It's something that you get catered just for you.
Yeah.
So like I just feel like it's a privilege
Yes.
that you get because mass produced you can get anywhere and everywhere.
Yes.
So yeah, I really love that fact that something is done personally for me. And I was not this person. But now I love the fact because you see a little bit of work behind that goes, like how that came up to you on your table, you're just like, yeah. Like I am happy. Like, and then that's the reason another word, like that is why I asked you why integrity as a word, because then that explains a lot.
Yeah.
It's done with a lot of integrity. And let's be honest, like not a lot of like big brands that we know are doing everything ethical. Like there are some places, there are some gaps, and it is what it is. So we decide who we want to support, and we would really, really be honored if you support like, your local businesses. And if you are like me, please get into Integrity Coffee.
Yeah.
If your like mornings are coffee sponsored. Yes. Integrity Coffee is there.
And it's exclusive, right? I think having met you and working with other small businesses, like you have an exclusivity, which you don't get when you are working with bigger individuals, bigger companies, because you're just a number.
Yeah.
But to you, I feel like every single person that you're selling your coffee to, it's an actual human being that you're interacting with. And it's not just a number. Like, of course, like I said, we're here to make money and small businesses, which is going to be my next question. Like, where do you see Integrity Coffee going? Like, I know right now you're in the basement and like you have your system.
Yeah.
And it's very easy, I would imagine, for you to wake up, have your cup of coffee, and then come back down here. Right. So I'm curious, what does it look like for you? What's your vision? What's that dream look like? And if there's anything we can do to support you along.
Yeah, I really want people to drink good coffee. Yeah. I mean, one thing I say is, it's my coffee is seriously fresh coffee. Like it's, I roast it for the most part. I roast it when the person orders it, like that day, next day, at the latest, like 2 days later, depending on time. But, and so I really try to, I want to cater to people, but I want people to know and realize like, hey, there's better stuff out there and it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. It can be good coffee. I want people to enjoy their coffee and not just drink coffee.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have to have my coffee in the morning. It's like, why don't you drink really good coffee and have to have your coffee in the morning, and I want people to live like that. Cause I mean, I roast it and I live that way. Like, and I know that it's not as pricey. I mean, it's not as cheap as some other places,
Right.
but that is, that's just like, just a taste as opposed to experiencing it. So, and I really want people to experience good coffee. I want people to experience the freshness of what real coffee can be, as opposed to I just need to get my caffeine in me with sugar and cream or whatever, different flavorings and stuff.
Yeah.
So I want people to see that it's not very difficult.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to take a long time. It's not going to be instant, but it's not going to be 20, 30 minutes. And I want people to basically experience the coffee. Part of the what I'm trying to do is, I'm looking at, am I looking to open a coffee shop possibly? I'm trying to figure out if I want to roast and provide for different places.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or if I want to actually open a shop of my own. I loved working in my friend's coffee shop. That was like my favorite job that I ever
Yeah.
had.
Right.
Just because I love the interaction with people. You kind of get into people's lives, and
Yeah.
like you have your regulars, like, oh, I know
Yes.
MJ's, I know
Yeah.
this is what she gets all the time. I know how to make it,
Yeah.
And if it's different, then just like, oh, something's different about this. Like, maybe I forgot a shot, or maybe it's this, and they
Yeah.
know that if it tastes different,
Huh.
and you have to kind of craft it in a certain way,
Yeah.
and so I was just in, my wife and I with some friends were in um, Dominican Republic, and like they had like an all-inclusive resort, and they had like different bars, and so some of the bartenders were like doing different things, and they're like, what do you want? Like, how about you make me something? And you like see their eyes light up, like, oh yeah, like,
Yeah.
they get to be creative. And I think in coffee, if you're at a coffee shop, a smaller coffee shop especially, you can be like that. Or even just with me, if I'm just roasting at the moment, she was like, hey, how about you surprise me? Like, oh, maybe I'll try and make a blend for this person. What do I think they'll like, So I like that crafting and like molding and making something. And I really like that creativity part. Which I paint too. So I like that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's brilliant. Actually, I think co-working spaces and like having coffee in co-working spaces, or people going to coffee shops to work while they are kind of sipping on and engaging. I think that's a brilliant outlet. I think for sure we will be there. For sure she will be there. But we could engage with that. That sounds like an exciting venture. And I think it also sounds like you enjoy not just like because there's the roasting part that no one gets to see because that's just you, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying like you have like noise canceling headphones and you're like zoned in on what you're doing.
My roaster can be kind of loud, so
exactly. But for you to kind of create a blend for someone, if someone's like, surprise me, and then you're like, oh, let me put these things together and like bring out that the fact that you phrased it as creativity is perfect, because that is a creative outlet, right? You're trying to connect with someone's personality and their senses and be like, why don't we see if you like this, And tea, my dad's a big tea person, and he actually had a tea business.
Oh, wow.
So he would talk about tasting the tea and what the aftertaste, what it's supposed to feel like when you first sip it, like, and then telling different people what they would like different flavors and stuff. So that's why I imagine when you were saying that, like you're behind the counter and like, people come to you, people who are more interested in experiencing life, right?
Yep.
Relationships.
Yep.
We want to bring that here, right? That's kind of what we're representing.
Yes.
We want to bring that to the US, and like, I know it's here. It's just not everywhere.
People do appreciate it when they have it, but they don't always think about it.
Yeah, they don't prioritize it.
Yep.
So I think creating spaces where you are walking with that integrity and you're saying, this is what I represent and this is what I want to show. And your brand represents it, your coffee represents it, and the way that you approach how you get the coffee and the beans and all of that is represented. And I think it comes through. And we're very energy people. So I think how you approach your coffee that energy translates to the actual bean. That means it goes to the person's cup. And when the person tastes it, like, they're connecting with that energy too. Like, these are all soul-filling experiences that I think, I'm actually really excited. I really, really hope that that's something we can see in the near future where you have your own space.
Yeah, we're we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to put the intention out there, wait for the universe to be like, all right, give me some time to cook it.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Exactly.
I'll frequently drive around the area here, and just look. I'm like, that's how would be a nice spot for a coffee shop. Not that I have like huge plans, like this is what's gonna be, but it's like, look around, like, or like I see a coffee shop, like, man, I don't know if that's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
And not that I'm an expert at that, but like sometimes some places you see like, it could be good. Like, I'm not sure if that's good or not.
Yeah. Like, before we wrap up, like, my last 2 cents would be, I was that person who was into Keurigs and coffee pods before. Again, lifestyle and everything. Like, you're always short on time. And I would say that, like, since I started like grinding my own beans in the morning and like making that cup of coffee, it changed. It added one extra step to my ritual. But I think having that good coffee kind of changes, and you can wake up like 5 minutes early to make it. It's not like you don't have to get up like 2 hours early in order to make that coffee or like whatever it is. But like adding that small bit into your ritual kind of helps you more. So I wish that, we create more people who are kind of willing to do that and just take that 2 seconds just for yourself.
Yes.
Sit with it, sit with that hot cup and, connect, think about what your day is going to look like. And because I'm that aroma person and I love that morning coffee smell, I just hold the cup and it's almost like me and the coffee. It's a small meditation that you go through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of coffee lovers go through the same feeling. The first cup usually brings a lot to your day. And yeah, I'm just going to say start it with Integrity Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. We are very grateful for Jeremy Lambert for having invited us over to your home and sharing the space, walking us through the process and kind of really showing us what it is that you do and how you do it.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. This is a featured episode because this is us highlighting our sponsors. So if anybody's interested, we're going to put all of Jeremy's information, how you can subscribe and get your own coffee in our show notes. Please tell other people about Integrity Coffee. If you've already had it, let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Because you obviously have heard a lot about what we think about it.
Uh-huh.
And I'll let you guys know what I think about the decaf coffee in one of our future episodes. So stay tuned. And if you've made it this far,
Yeah.
if you made it this far, thank you for hanging out with us. We hope it made you feel a little bit more seen. This is Attunigrate's podcast, If I'm Being Honest, where we are not promising perfection. We are showing up as we are. Until next time.
Stay real, stay honest. And this episode, I'm going to say, stay caffeinated.
There you go. Perfect.